Hey, I'm Vanessa, the girl on a bike, and today I am at Inch Perfect Trials with the new Electric Motion EPure. This is the 2021 Electric Trials bike offering, and I'm here to give you a tech review of everything you need to know about this bike. I'm going to get straight into the main detail of what everybody wants to know, and that is how long is it going to last? Because that is the question that is on everyone's mind when it comes to electric. These bikes are going to last between 3 and 5 hours of riding, depending on how throttle happy you are. You've got to bear in mind that trials riding generally, you are riding at the lower kind of rev engine limits, which means these bikes do keep going for a long time. I would say that this bike will outrange my body, and that's saying something. So yesterday we went out for quite a good solid length day riding, came home on 48% battery. You then got the charging. You're looking at just over 3¼ hours from completely drained flat battery to full. However, the likelihood of you being flat is probably a little less frequently. So what are you looking at for part charges? 40 minutes will get you to about 60% juice, and an hour will get you to around 80%. So it actually has quite a rapid charging capability, and the plug into the mains as you would normally expect from an electric vehicle. The batteries come with a 6-month manufacturer's warranty, and the batteries itself have 2 years or 800 charges, whichever one comes first. So Electric Motion have a life expectancy on these batteries of 1,000 charges. Now that, you've got to bear in mind, is something that they are willing to put on paper these batteries are going to last. Now if we look at some of the older models from across the last few years from Electric Motion, some of their bikes are up to 2,000–3,000 recharges. So you are looking at a pretty hefty life cycle with these batteries. When you think about the running and maintenance costs of running an electric vehicle, you haven't got any of the oil changes, any of the servicing of the engine components that you would expect. It is a sealed for life motor. And when I say sealed for life, you can actually fully submerge these bikes completely in water. They are, weatherproof. So yes, you have a price tag on the race model of just over 8,200. However, your running and maintenance costs are going to be heavily reduced. This is the race spec EPure, so the top end of the electric offering from Electric Motion. So there is also a light and a sport. Now I will quickly run through the key differences between the light and the sport, but the light has a price tag of 6,899, so it is a little bit more affordable, but it does come with a slightly lower spec as you would expect with a lighter price tag. So key things to mention on the race model, which is the highest spec, is that it comes with aluminium tech front forks. You've got higher quality wheels. We are also looking at a hydraulic diaphragm clutch. Now this is a really key thing on this electric bike. This is one of the first on the market to offer a very like-for-like feel clutch that is fully hydraulic. And it basically makes the crossover going from a combustion motorcycle to an electric motorcycle a little bit less of a mind jump, because we have all grown up with combustion engines where we're used to using a clutch and having the feeling of the clutch, the feathering it, the playing with it. And so when you start saying, well, there's no clutch on an electric bike, how am I meant to do what I do on a motorcycle without one? It enables the offering to bridge that gap. It feels just like the clutch that I have on my Beta. It works in a very similar way, but obviously on an electric bike. But I do think there is actually an educational piece on the need to have a clutch on an electric bike. I would say, and the guys here at Inch Perfect Trial are the ones that sort of said this to me, is that probably 70% of us trial riders don't even need the clutch on the electric bike, because the linear power delivery through this throttle on an electric bike is so smooth, instant and precise. You can use superior throttle control to negate even needing to have the clutch. Now, when I say linear power, if we think about trying to get traction on a combustion engine, the power delivery from a combustion engine means that there's a little bit of a delay when you ask for the power. The power will then kick in and it will tail off. So you're constantly having to feel with the combustion delivery to gain that traction. And this is a very simplified version, so don't get too techie on me. But on an electric bike, when you move that throttle, it is instant power to the level that you're asking for, and it doesn't waver, which means your feel from wrist to tyre is incredible. I'm going to leave it at that. You need to get on one of these bikes to really comprehend quite how much traction and how easily you get that traction is on this bike. So going back into the technicalities of these bikes, they come with an on-off button. You've got a map switch on the handlebar, which enables you to switch between 3 riding modes. Now, the 3 riding modes, the easiest way to understand them is to put them into an equivalent. So you've got green, which is the equivalent of a 200 combustion bike. You have blue, the little light here changes. So we go onto the map, it starts in neutral, we hit the map and it goes into green. This is the equivalent of a 200 motorcycle. We then go into blue, which is the equivalent of a 250, and then we go red, which is a 300. Now for me riding around, obviously I am no pro rider. I was in green most of the day, had more than enough power. I went into blue for one hill climb. And the reality is, for most of us riders, this has everything that you could need. You know, it's a very capable trials bike. We have a 1.9 kilowatt EM electric bike, which is giving you 600 Newton meters of torque. That is a lot of power from a 75 kilogram bike. And that is 75 kilograms ready to go. And you compare weights of motorcycles, a combustion engine's weight is typically a weight pre-fuel, petrol, oil, etc. So Electric Motions come with Michelin rubber, only the best. So they have the X11 on them. And the bit that I'm probably the most excited about, even though I'm not a mum, is the fact that this is the ideal bike to have as a kid as well. From the age of 9 up, there is a kids package that you can get on this bike, which basically transforms the exact same machine into a bike perfectly suitable for a 9+-year-old. So you could technically have this bike, have dad running it, mum running it, kid running it, or kid running and growing up and growing with it. So the key difference on the bikes when you go through for the kids thing, there is a school mapping, which basically halves the power of the electric motor. You've then got the 3 settings for a halved power delivery, which is obviously adequate for a 9-year-old, 10-year-old. You have different pegs, which are higher and further forwards, slightly smaller bars. You go to smaller wheels, 1917s, and you get a softer rear spring. So basically you're getting this package compressed slightly, suitable for a kid. So everybody always asks, how high is the seat? Can I touch the ground? So the seat on this thing is 670. However, there is no seat. It is a trials bike. So we're just going to ignore that question. But it's little. Anyway, that is me. I'm Vanessa, the girl on a bike. This is the Electric Motion EPure, and I'm here at Inch Perfect Trials. If you want to have a go on this bike, get up to Inch Perfect Trials. They have a fleet of bikes that you can do experience days on. And I'm going to end on, don't mock it until you've tried it, because electric isn't the future because we're running out of fossil fuels. It's the future because it is a technology that is really damn good. If you're new to my channel, please hit subscribe, hit the bell, check out my other socials, and thanks so much for watching.